The world was never designed to be fair, and the moment you accept that uncomfortable reality, you stop being its casualty. Right now, as you listen, there are people far less capable than you, commanding admiration, authority, and opportunity, not because they're better, but because they've mastered the darker sides of human psychology. You've been conditioned to follow rules that others quietly abandoned, to play nice while others play smart, to wait your turn while others seize what they want. The system isn't broken, it's simply built to reward those who understand how it truly works. It's stacked against those who still believe in fairness, those who think sincerity and effort are enough, those who don't grasp the quiet art of psychological power. Centuries ago, Niccolò Machiavelli uncovered why kind souls are forgotten and calculated minds shape empires. Today, I'll reveal 8 psychological truths that will shift you from being overlooked to being magnetic, fearless, and impossible to dismiss. But once you glimpse the hidden architecture of human nature, there's no going back. You'll never see people, power, or yourself the same way again. I know this because I once lived in ignorance, smart, genuine, hardworking, and invisible. I watched as loud fools climbed ladders I built, as manipulators gathered influence while honest people faded. It shattered me until I realized a truth few dare to face. The world doesn't honor intelligence. It honors impact. It doesn't respect goodness. It respects presence. It doesn't reward integrity. It rewards psychological strength. And that realization changed everything. But that realization also freed me from a lifetime of frustration, invisibility, and quiet resentment. Machiavelli, living in the chaos of Renaissance Italy, was surrounded by betrayal, manipulation, and political mind games. He watched entire kingdoms crumble or thrive because of one timeless rule. Those who understand human nature control those who don't. His insights weren't mere historical notes. They were blueprints for psychological mastery for those who want to stop being puppets and start pulling their own strings. Being ruthless isn't about cruelty, it's about clarity. It's about understanding that while you're playing checkers with emotions and morals, others are playing chess with precision and strategy. Before we go deeper, I want you to make a simple declaration. I refuse to be psychologically controlled by anyone. This isn't just a comment, it's your initiation into mental independence. Because everything that follows requires a transformation from the mindset of a victim to the mindset of a strategist. Are you ready to become dangerously self-assured? Then let's start. Principle 1. Fairness is a psychological illusion. Here's the harsh reality: fairness is a myth designed to keep you docile. Every time you wait for life to treat you fairly, someone else is quietly taking what you hoped for. Every time you obey unwritten rules, others are bending them to serve their ambitions. Every time you expect reciprocity, manipulators are calculating your predictability. You've been raised to think fairness is virtue, but in truth, it's vulnerability. Ask yourself, how often have you respected those who disrespected you? How often have you helped people who vanished when you needed them? How often have you waited patiently while others cut in line and took what was yours? That's not misfortune, it's mental conditioning. You've been programmed to lose gracefully. Machiavelli once said, "Men should be either treated generously or destroyed, for they take revenge for slight injuries but cannot for grave ones." He wasn't talking about physical violence, he was describing psychological dominance. When you slightly bruise someone's ego, they remember and retaliate. But when you completely outmaneuver them, they accept defeat and move on. Most people fail because they fight halfway. They push back timidly against those who play to win. They set weak limits with the aggressive and try to reason with people who only act out of selfishness, and that's the recipe for getting chewed up. Soft boundaries make you look vulnerable and simultaneously create adversaries who see you as an easy win. True psychological dominance looks nothing like arguing your case or pleading for fairness. It's about shaping reality, so disrespect has immediate, tangible costs. When someone crosses you, you don't justify yourself or beg for decency. You behave in ways that make mistreating you disadvantageous for them. You stop bargaining with people who don't value you and instead engineer situations where being decent toward you benefits them while abusing you costs them something they care about. Stop being fair to those who won't reciprocate. Start acting with strategy toward people who only speak the language of power. Ruthlessness isn't fury, it's frozen focus. Most confuse ruthlessness with losing control, but the truly ruthless are masters of emotional discipline. They notice anger, hurt, or frustration as data, not directives. They don't explode, they calculate. Emotional reactors are predictable and easily played. Every outburst hands power to someone who knows which buttons to press. The psychologically dominant feel their emotions but refuse to let those feelings drive decisions. When someone tries to humiliate you publicly, the impulsive person leaps to defend and explain, which only confirms the attacker's leverage. The strategically ruthless person experiences the sting, then asks, "What move minimizes this person's influence and raises mine?" Sometimes the answer is to ignore the provocation entirely. Other times it's to act in a way that subtly, socially, and permanently shifts the balance of power. They often answer with a cold, factual correction that exposes the attacker's foolishness, or with a composed reaction that highlights their own steadiness. The point is, the response is deliberate, not reflexive. Machiavelli taught that wounds should be dealt decisively, so they don't linger and invite continued pain. When you must retaliate to a psychological assault, make one clean, final move that settles the matter in your favor. Avoid dragging yourself into endless drama or emotional ping-pong. Look at the most psychologically powerful people you know. They don't lose their cool, they don't brawl, and they don't let others hijack their mood. They conserve their energy, pick their fights, and act from strategy rather than impulse, and that restraint becomes its own form of influence. When people learn they can't push your buttons, they treat you with greater care. Master your reactions, let others vent while you respond with intent. And here's the harsh reset for people pleasers. Psychological dominance beats mere likability. Being liked makes you disposable because people assume you'll forgive and move on. Being respected makes you costly to trifle with. Nice people are safe and therefore easy to exploit. Those who command psychological authority are unpredictable and therefore treated with caution. Who holds the room's attention, the agreeable nodded, or the person whose verdict actually matters? As Machiavelli bluntly noted, it's safer to be feared than loved if you must choose, and no, that isn't an instruction to become a tyrant. It means becoming the kind of person nobody treats lightly because they know disrespect will carry real costs. Someone known for fairness but unmistakably formidable. In practice, the difference is simple. The likable person says yes out of fear of disappointing, while the dominant person says no without guilt because their priorities come first. The likable shrug off slights and hope they'll stop. The dominant confront disrespect immediately and end it. The likable scramble to be everywhere, The dominant choose where they'll show up. The likable explain and apologize for their choices. The dominant decide and expect others to follow. That mental switch from, "Will they like me?" to "Will this action increase my social power?" is seismic. You stop chasing approval and become the one whose approval everyone wants. Don't hand out respect to those who don't earn it. Build psychological authority by consistently enforcing your standards and boundaries so others compete for your endorsement instead of you competing for theirs. And remember, decisive action builds dominance. Most people erode their influence by making weak threats over and over, endless warnings that teach others to ignore them. Dominant people operate differently. They warn rarely, but when they act, their moves are sharp, final, and unforgettable. Make fewer gestures, but make them count. When you must deliver consequences, do it in a way that settles the matter severe enough to remove the need for revenge and clear enough that no one mistakes your resolve. In practical terms, when you need to assert your power, do it so clearly and conclusively that nobody tries you again. Picture this. Someone in your circle constantly cuts you off, belittles your ideas, or makes you the butt of jokes. The weak reaction is to nag, get visibly upset, or complain to others, and those behaviors only teach them they can rattle you without consequence. The psychologically strong approach is surgical. Record the pattern, then make one decisive move. Maybe you call out the behavior publicly in a way that exposes their cruelty. Maybe you remove them from something they value. Maybe you quietly marshal others to stop tolerating their conduct. Your response should be larger than any single slight, yet fitting to the repeated pattern, a move designed to end the abuse, not prolong it. That kind of disproportionate but appropriate action sears a lesson into the group dynamic. Disrespect costs people dearly, and you don't bluff. This method applies everywhere. Instead of endlessly arguing for your worth, deliver a single demonstration so powerful it can't be ignored. Instead of being constantly available, become selectively scarce so others notice your absence. Instead of repeating your case, take one action that makes your position indisputable. Make fewer threats, but when you act, make sure the world knows you followed through. Build a reputation for decisive resolution rather than hollow warnings. And number 5, perception management is the art of shaping reality. The most influential people understand that others' impressions of you often matter more than the messy truth beneath the surface. Most folks believe being inherently good is enough and expect recognition to follow. That's naive. People operate on fast impressions, social cues, and who else endorses you. If you control those signals, you control how the world treats you. If you leave your image to chance, someone else will shape it, and rarely in ways that help you. Machiavelli saw this clearly. Most people only ever meet the version of you show them, not the full person beneath the surface. For the majority of strangers and colleagues, your appearance becomes their truth. That's why reputation equals power, and perceived worth often becomes actual worth in other people's minds. Psychologically savvy individuals don't wait for impressions to form, they design them. This isn't hypocrisy, it's intentional presentation of your real strengths, so others don't invent weaker versions of you. Consider two people who achieve the same result. The one who documents and frames it strategically gets the opportunities and the credit, while the silent achiever is overlooked. The same rules apply offline. Posture, eye contact, tone, and composure advertise your value before you speak. Walk in tall, Meet gazes and speak with certainty, and people will file you under important. Slouch, avoid engagement, and mumble, and they'll dismiss you before you open your mouth. In practice, manage the stories others hear by highlighting wins, associating with high-value people and activities, preserving a little mystery so assumptions tilt positive, and projecting confidence even when you don't feel it, because confidence spreads and doubt repels. Your reputation is your currency. Guard it, grow it, and use it deliberately. Number 6. Narrative control is psychological warfare. This is the highest level of power, not just influencing what happens, but shaping how events are understood and remembered. Every moment can be told 100 different ways. The same behavior can look like leadership or arrogance, confidence or ego, strength or hostility. The one who dictates the story decides the meaning. Most people obsess over their actions but neglect the narrative surrounding them, a fatal error, because in human psychology, perception usually outweighs fact. Think about any dispute you've seen. The person who presents their version first, and most convincingly, usually wins the crowd regardless of truth. Machiavelli understood this well. Men in general judge more by appearances than by reality. People rarely have time or interest to uncover the full picture. They adopt the simplest version told by a credible voice. Whoever commands that story commands belief. That's why narrative framing is a vital skill. When you succeed, you decide whether the story becomes one of luck or mastery. When you stumble, you shape the tale into growth, not defeat. When someone attacks you, you rewrite their assault as proof of their insecurity or envy. Here's how to apply narrative control. If you make a tough choice that might offend others, frame it around integrity and long-term vision, not personal gain. When someone tries to tarnish your image, don't just defend, reposition their criticism as evidence of your strength. When you achieve something, narrate it to emphasize foresight, discipline, and strategy, not fortune. For instance, say you cut off a toxic friend. They'll claim you're cold or selfish. If you let that story stand, you look like the villain. But if you get ahead of it, I had to set boundaries with someone who continually disrespected my energy and well-being, you're seen as strong and self-respecting. Same action, completely different perception. True mastery of narrative control means anticipating how your actions could be spun and ensuring your version defines the reality before anyone else does. Always think beyond the action itself. Consider how your behavior will be seen, interpreted, and retold. Shape the narrative before someone else shapes it for you. Number 7. Systematic consequences create psychological authority. The highest form of influence doesn't depend on emotions, threats, or manipulation. It's built on systems, consistent cause and effect patterns that make your boundaries self-enforcing. This is true psychological sophistication because it takes you out of the emotional equation. People can argue with opinions, but they can't argue with structure. They can manipulate reactions, but not automatic consequences. When your power relies on anger or confrontation, you're surrendering control because others can provoke you at will. But when you establish a system where respect grants access and disrespect triggers exclusion, your authority becomes untouchable. Machiavelli captured this perfectly. A wise ruler should rely on what is within his own control, not on what depends on others. Here's how it looks in practice. Instead of arguing with people who waste your time, you simply become unavailable to them. Instead of getting upset at those who exploit your generosity, you quietly redirect your energy to people who appreciate it. Instead of demanding better treatment, you build environments where it's in others' best interest to treat you well and costly to do otherwise. For example, say you have friends who always expect you to plan gatherings, but constantly cancel or show up late. The reactive person complains or guilt trips them. The system thinker simply says, "I plan for people who confirm and arrive on time. Those who don't follow through stop getting invited." No emotional speech, no threats, just natural consequences. People who value your effort earn more of it. Those who don't lose access to it. That's how you cultivate psychological authority. By designing systems that train people to respect your standards without you ever needing to raise your voice. They can't argue with a system that's grounded in logic rather than emotion. The brilliance of this approach lies in its self-sufficiency. Once it's in place, it runs on its own. You no longer need to nag, remind, or enforce. The built-in consequences handle that for you. Build structures where people's behavior automatically determines their level of access to your time, energy, and value. Let their own choices educate them on how to treat you. Number 8. Silent dominance is the highest form of power. The final principle is the most important of all. True psychological authority operates quietly. Those who constantly boast about being strong, clever, or fearless rarely are. They're performing strength instead of embodying it. Genuine power doesn't announce itself, it radiates. Real influence moves subtly, behind the curtain. True dominance is felt, not spoken. The most formidable individuals in any room are often the ones saying the least. While others are performing, they're watching. While others react, they calculate. While others posture, they position. Think of the most powerful minds you've encountered. They don't flaunt their reach or issue loud threats. Their strength is understood, not explained. Their control is proven through outcomes, not claims. Their authority is sensed the moment they enter the room. Machiavelli captured this balance perfectly. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. Therefore, one must be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. Power demands both intellect and force, the wisdom to see danger coming, and the strength to neutralize it. The mastery lies in shifting between these modes without ever revealing your hand. In practice, silent dominance means your rivals don't recognize your strategy until they've already lost ground. Your allies don't notice how you've positioned them until they're already benefiting. Your opponents don't see you dismantling their influence until it's too late to recover. You build power quietly, move strategically, and let results, not rhetoric, speak for you. You collect insight about others while revealing almost nothing about yourself. You form alliances that advance your goals without drawing attention to the connections. You neutralize opposition quietly, so those working against you never recognize why their power is fading. This isn't deception, it's strategic restraint. True influence comes from knowing when to act and when to stay silent. When you master silent dominance, people feel your presence without being able to trace its source. Your influence appears effortless, almost inevitable, not forced or aggressive. You build your psychological power base quietly, while others waste energy broadcasting theirs. Let them talk, you move. Let them perform, you position. Let your victories speak for you long after the noise fades. And here's the final, uncomfortable truth. If you don't learn the deeper psychology of influence, someone who already has will use it on you. This isn't abstract philosophy, it's the unseen power game playing out every day. Right now, while you're studying these ideas, others are applying them to gain leverage over those who don't understand them. Manipulators are taking advantage of people clinging to the illusion of fairness. Strategic thinkers are rising above those who believe good intentions alone will protect them. The choice is stark but clear: either understand and use the laws of psychological influence, or remain vulnerable to those who do. Society has conditioned you to think mastering this knowledge is immoral or dangerous. In reality, ignorance is what keeps you powerless. That's exactly what psychologically dominant people want you to think. They thrive on your innocence, your predictability, and your hesitation. As long as you stay unaware of how human psychology truly works, you remain an easy target in a world run by those who understand it. Every day you hesitate to apply these principles. Someone more strategic and less sentimental is claiming the power, respect, and opportunities you wish were yours. Every time you choose to be nice instead of being strategically strong, you hand leverage to those who mistake your kindness for weakness. The world doesn't reward blind goodness. It rewards awareness, composure, and calculated confidence. What's needed now isn't more naive optimism, but intelligent strength, people who see reality clearly and use psychological mastery to create genuine influence and inner stability. If these truths strike a chord in you, if you're done being quietly controlled or underestimated, then it's time to act. Declare your transformation not through words, but through behavior. Refuse to keep living as someone others can easily manipulate. Build presence, build strategy, build power. Because while you're deciding whether to step into psychological mastery, those who already have are deciding how to use it against you. The choice is still yours, but the clock is ticking.